answers. Okay. So
Hello.
register lah. Okay. I think the link is provided to you already. Okay, in the Google Classroom. So you may try to join if you're interested. Huh? You have class? How many class? Huh? Workshop? I think 10 months. Yeah, Friday, if you have class, I think you can apply later for faculty workshop, yeah. Huh, sorry? I can't hear. For what? Improve your communication skill. Okay. Yes. Okay, are you ready? Ryan? Ryan haven't show face yet. Yes, there are many Ryans in this hall. Yes, hold on, what is your name already? Hold on, wait. I can recall. Able. Yeah, okay. Yes, okay. Now, hey, since there are not so many students here, those who sit at the back, can you sit in front? I see some of them is under my tutorial group one, right? Okay, so this group also right? Yeah. Okay, sit in front, and then the side also. You may come because it's very far. Our distance is very far because my seat is here, and then your seat is there. You can say at least sit in front there lah, or in front here also can. In front here also can. You can see there is so many vacant seats here. Hey, this is a lecture class, Okay, hey, why no student want to sit in front? My project student must sit in front one. Yes. I have 10 project students under me in this group. Okay. So, who are the students? Okay. Yeah. Hold on, let me open the slide first. And then another thing is by this way I'm going to deliver all the notes to you. Okay, just that I'm now in the refinement process. Okay, I want to check again, see anything that I missed out or not. And same as your assignment. Okay, same as your assignment is going to be delivered, I guess Friday like that lah. So Friday like that. Okay, so you may take this opportunity to group your assignment team for 4 to 5 students. And where is my folder? Okay, here. This is my folder, and this is my PowerPoint slide. How come so few students? For this subject class, just for your additional information, for this subject, because this is a year 3 subject, okay, most of the year 3 subject is for you to, when you want to study it, you need to understand it. Don't go and memorize everything. It's not possible to memorize everything. Understand it, apply, analyze, and relate. Okay, your question, either your test or either your final exam, question will be in C3 and above. Bloom taxonomy C3 and above. Very few will have C2 question 1. Understand? Okay? So please, when we study this subject and the software maintenance subject also, you have to relate, understand, relate, apply, okay? Not to memorize. Must understand, okay? Most of the question is on this C3 and above, not very few question is only on C2, okay? And today so few students in front the group, which group Group 10 or group 8 11 Yes. Okay, please find your seat Okay, so last week, so what was it? Let the speaker. Last week, what we have discussed last week, what can I call? Okay, last week we have discussed about the security requirement, okay, elicitation, okay, that is incorporated into your software development methodology. Okay, the model you incorporate, the methodology incorporate is called the SQUARE, S-Q-A-R-E. Okay, this SQUARE actually is from the CERT program, CRT CERT program of in this Carnegie Mellon University. Okay, so and this SQUARE actually represent a series of steps from 1 to 9. Okay, helping us to elicit the requirement, security requirement from the system during our requirement engineering phase. Okay, so and now this chapter 3 today is regarding software architecture. Hopefully you still can recall software architecture. Okay, so after requirement engineering, now we come to software architecture. So in this software architecture, we are going to look at what kind of security, how are we going to identify the threat security during the architecture development. Okay, now when we want to build our software architecture, when we are going to build our software architecture in terms of security, so the architecture must be is to estimated to be resilient, flexible, and scalable. And it can be detect and also able to respond to any attack that is come to the system or the software itself. So therefore, in producing a secure software architecture, the main concern will also come back to the triad of the CIA. So CIA, confidentiality, integrity, and the availability. So in this case, when you want to create a secure software architecture, you need to apply certain security measure to prevent and to mitigate those particular threats that you have identified. Now continue. Look at this one. From the first chapter until second chapter, we keep on discussing about the triad of the software. The triad of the security. So you can see that confidentiality, integrity, and availability. So I guess this one you have learned in other subjects also. So confidentiality is to ensure that the information is accessible only to those who are authorized to access. Integrity is to prevent the accuracy and completeness of the information and processing method, from unnecessary or unauthorized notification. Understand? So availability to make sure the user has the access to the information and the associate access when it is required. It means that when the user requires that one, if this one is within his authority, okay, then he should be able to access the resources. In another way, means that the data or the resources should be available to the user. Understand? So these are the type of security lah, also the security property. Okay. Now, yes. During our design of our architecture, okay, so we may implement, we may embed, or we may integrate certain control, security control into our architecture. As for example, you can look at this is a layer architecture. Okay, how many layers? How many layers? 4, 3, 2, 1. No. Okay. So it's a 4-layer architecture. So as you can look at this diagram there, each layer they may implement some security method to mitigate or to prevent the threats or the risks or the attack . So let's say for example, application layer. What is application layer? What is application layer? Yes, speak person. Yes, what is application layer? Speak person. Brother, speak person. Do pretend. Okay. Yes. Okay. So, yes, I call him speak person because he represents his tutorial group. Yeah. Any answer questions, I just ask him to do already. Okay. So, yes, application layer. Okay, yes. Person, what is your understanding on application layer? Your answer should be, well, it's a very long story to talk about that. Can we have make an appointment to discuss this one? Okay, so what is application layer? Hey, brother, looking for you. Okay. Provide the function. The what?
Provide the functionality to send and receive data from user.
To send and receive data from user application layer. This layer is interact with the user or the what we call the client one. Okay. So now you can look at this diagram here. Okay. Now there are some control security control that you can implement. WAF, Web Application Firewall. This one we know now is firewall, right? Isn't it? So RBAC, Role-Based Access Control. What is role-based access control? Means that depending on the user role in the system, so the user is able to access any functions or data based on the user role. And so if his role is an admin, then he can open a certain level of thing. If his role is actually data entry, then he just only maybe for certain level of access. So static code analysis, input validation, secure session control. Secure session control, CAPTCHA. Is it CAPTCHA? Yes. Okay. So these are some of the controller, but not necessarily should be this one. You get me a task. So service layer, you can have OAuth, open authorization. Open authorization, which is a framework. So or rate limit. Rate limit actually is to have a very fair access for let's say a same group of user. So not the only user, the particular user can always access to the resources and function. It should be balanced out. Rate limit. TLS and SSL, transport layer security or secure socket layer, is the protocol that used to prevent any attack to the website. So TLS actually is the upgrade version of this SSL, but SSL still be using. So logging and monitoring is to log any activities, okay? But since this is the security, okay, to log out any potential security, okay, or anything concerned security or any functions that you need concern or focus on security, everything you log inside lah. Monitoring, okay, monitor how the service is being accessed and being performed. Data layer, you can encrypt at rest, encrypt the data and store in the storage. Understand? Database monitoring, access control. Now the physical layer here is the physical firewall. Okay. IDS, IPS actually is those intrusion detection system and intrusion prevention system. Okay. IDS, IPS. Network segmentation means that you break your network into a small segment. Like you break your network into a small subnet, okay, it's easier for you to manage and maintain the security. Okay, physical security are like this is not only on the software, maybe on what are the physical way that we can prevent the user go and break the hardware, okay, and go and spoil the system and the server, so kind of that, okay. So this is the some of the security control we may implement in our architecture, okay. Now, continue. Let us have a look on the security principle. Okay, when we design the software architecture, a lot of principles. I think 6 principles. Okay. Principle of least privilege. Okay, what is meant by this principle of least privilege? Is state that every user or process should operate with the minimum set of privilege necessary to perform its task. Means that if the user, okay, can perform what kind of functions, can access which part of the system, can access or retrieve, manipulate what kind of data, okay. So the least minimum privilege should be provided to this user to complete his task. You cannot allocate. It's not suggested that for you to allocate a lot of privilege, okay, which is far more than what the user is required to do. Understand? Okay? Defense in depth. This one also known as layer security. Okay, layer security. So what is meant by this principle? Provide multiple security controls to protect the resources. Means that if one security control fail to protect or detect, then you still have another one. You understand? Okay? Okay? Others will be in place to prevent a security breach. Okay? Fail securely. Okay? So means that this principle means that when a system or component fails, okay, it should not let the system, okay, in secure status. Even though the component fail, it will not let the system fall into a insecure status. Understand? So in this case, okay, then this one is depend on how you design your system. Design system not necessarily your architecture. Architecture, you know that there are 4 views of architecture, right? What are the 4 views of the architecture? Don't return back to me. Okay. What are the 4 views of architecture? Yes, speak person. Bukan Okay. Yes. So never mind. I ask Ryan. Who is Ryan here? No Ryan. Okay, Abel. Yes, yeah. What are the 4 views of software architecture? Actually, it's 4 plus 1, but I just need the 4 views only. Software architecture. Logical, process, development, and deployment, right? Yeah, okay. So, for for this architecture here, okay. So when you're going to design architecture, okay, so then you have to concern, okay. Not necessarily it's more on the overall architecture, maybe it's in terms of deployment, how your physical implementation of your architecture should be. Understand? In this way, you can physically apply the physical control in preventing any threats or any attack to your system. Understand? It's not mean that you have not necessary in terms of software model. Understand? Okay. So now let us have a look on another example, an example of principle. Okay, so security by design. You didn't see anything. Okay. If this microphone spoiled already, it's not my problem. Okay, now security by design. Okay. This principle, okay, you need to integrate. Okay, as we discussed earlier in the first two chapters. Okay, we want to implement security mitigation method or identify security. Okay, it's not wait until the system is being completed. Understand? You have to integrate your security design or security engineering methodology okay, built into your software development. Understand? Okay, into your software development. Okay, so let's say for example, you have in last week we learned about the square, which is to help us to elicit security requirement. In this one design, you also need to have learn something regarding on how are you going to improve or implement the security in your architecture. And then for coding also, you need to follow a secure coding practices. And for testing, you may also decide what kind of security testing you may need to implement. Let's say for example, penetration test. You get me, class? Okay. So now this is what it means by the security by design. Privacy by design means this principle when designing your system, you may consider or integrate the privacy consideration into the design and the operation of the system. Okay? So, and this common mechanism. So this principle, advocates for minimizing the use of shared resources to reduce potential pathway for security breaches. This common mechanism means that, so not all the resources you can share, everyone can use one. Just that potential or maybe limited resources can allocate to a different people based on the needs. Understand? To avoid any security breaches because if too many people can share the resources, it's very high possibility that you are going to expose the system or the data or the part of the system to the risk. Understand? Okay. Now, continue. Regular auditing and monitoring. Auditing and monitoring. So this is another principle. Means that you need to perform a regular audits and monitoring, to make sure that you comply to the security policy and your system is able to, through the monitoring, you are able to detect any potential security incident. Yes, anything else? Why? Because of the chunky here. I guess you need it. You want it. Okay, so I'm wondering where got chunky here. Don't have, right? Unless you go to the Tanah Kota or the Genting Plain side lah. Delivery okay. So, and now the next principle, encryption at rest and in transit, means that when the data is being stored, so you need to try to maybe protect the sensitive data by applying the encryption. And during the transmission of data, you also need to encrypt the data. This is what is suggested lah. But also depend on what kind of data lah. So not all the data you need to encrypt one. So why? Because sometimes you may not have such a cost or resources to perform all these things. Just to identify what kind of data you need to use and and what and to protect the data. So the last one, KISS. This one, I guess you all read this one before, right? During SDA, one of the principle in SDA design, right? KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Okay, keep it simple, stupid. Why they want to put the word stupid? Keep it simple, do already lah. Okay, so just to make the principle like easy to understand only lah. Okay, so keep it simple, stupid. Okay. So the more complex the system, okay, the more difficult you are going to, okay, secure the system, okay. So therefore, when you try to design system, try to make your system as simple as possible. But I know understand that it's quite difficult to make so-called simple, understand? But just that make sure you make your design become simple as possible, understand? Means that you can apply some modularity. Okay, breakdown of decomposition of functions, module or object, make it simple as possible so that it's easier for you to secure the system. Understand? In front here no students sit. I feel not so comfortable. Okay. Next time my FIP student must sit in front. Okay. Unless you want to feel your FIP. Yes. This is a very effective way, no? You see, okay. Yes. Okay. Yes, Monday. Okay, okay, I see. Okay, hey, do you know what I'm talking about? You know what? Okay. So now continue. I still got a principle. 8 principles. So many. So now, always consider the human factors. Yeah. Human factors, okay, this is a very important factors that you need to consider when you're designing a secure architecture, okay? So why? Because human okay? So one thing is security procedure should be user-friendly and users should be educated about potential security threats. Means that you need to train the user, okay? So what you should do, what are the things you should not do, okay, so that you will expose your data, okay, expose your system to the unauthorized access, okay. But sometimes people it's not that they are accidentally exposed one. Sometimes they are purposely exposed one. Okay. Security through obscurity is not enough. What is meant by security through obscurity? Obscurity, okay, let's say for example, if you keep on hiding your data, set your function as a private, set your data, okay, hide the data, actually is not sufficient to build a secure architecture, understand? You're just hiding only, understand? Okay, but however, you still need to, okay, apply some of the what we call the security method okay, to prevent, okay, to detect all those possible threats, understand? Because hiding is not sufficient, understand? Okay, let's say some people, okay, you know that they want to come and disturb you, okay, you keep on hiding okay, sometimes it may not be a long time or long-term solution. Okay, somehow you may need to apply others, okay, method, okay, for this purpose. Same as security. Okay. Now, do you have any question? Okay. So, any questions for the principal? No, okay. So, and now I realize why no students sit in front. Those students sit in front, they already sat in the back already. Yes. I recognize you one. Okay. Snapshot your photo. Okay. Then, now we come to guidelines and for designing security architecture. These are some guidelines now. Okay. I think 4 only. Yeah. So, what are the guidelines? Hold on. Wait. Okay. I think after this one we take a small break. Okay. So, guidelines for designing security. Okay, guidelines for designing security architecture. What is the first guideline? Understand the business objective. As usual, no matter how you design your system, you develop a system, you want to gather your security goals or whatever, okay? So you need to understand the business objective first, okay? So everything is according to tally, related, or meet your business objective, okay? But clearly understand of your organization goals, okay? So this knowledge allows you to align the security architecture with both business needs and compliance requirement. Understand? So therefore, goals, every time identify the goals and objective. Know the goals and objective. Understand the goal and objective first. Then, existing system. Either your system is a manual system or it's a computerized system, existing one. Okay. You study the existing system, evaluate your current security measure and the system. Identify the data that needs to be protected and the existing possible or potential vulnerabilities with your hardware, software, network, infrastructure, and operational procedure. What is meant by vulnerabilities in compared to threats? What is the difference between vulnerabilities compared to threats? What is the difference between vulnerabilities in compared to threats? Yes, Mantik. Vulnerabilities versus threat. Okay, help me to go ChatGPT. Type vulnerabilities versus threat. What is the difference? Then you tell me. Okay. While waiting for Mantik, we continue. Okay. So assess the existing system. The second guidelines. Okay, so means that this one you have to understand the existing system, identify all those potential threats, vulnerability, risks, okay, that may occur, okay, in the existing system. Existing system means not necessarily the software, hardware, procedure, network infra, operational procedure also involved. Understand? Okay, just don't go and study only the software. Okay, and the next guidelines. Define the requirement. This is more or less similar. It's a short, okay, guidelines, okay, in compared to the square, okay. So square is more intended for the requirements, okay. Define the security requirement. In this case, you have to apply different method, okay, and or maybe for example threat modeling, okay, to identify the threat and define the security requirement through, okay. So create a security policy, okay, to describe, outline the potential risk, categorize data based on sensitivity, and set guidelines for employee behavior. Okay, create a policy, security policy for the company to follow and the employee or the user to follow. Okay. Still guideline. Okay. Then design the security architecture. Use a layer approach. This author he suggests use a layer approach to security by implementing various defense mechanisms. Like just now, we see the diagram there. Okay, a layer approach. Each layer they have different mechanism or security method or measure to implemented in different layers. Develop an incident response plan. Yes, why you do have a plan means that if anything happen, okay, how are you going to respond to this security incident? Understand? Because security incident depends on the system. If your system is a critical safety system, okay, then when there's anything happen, you must follow certain policy or procedure to handle it. We cannot just simply go and handle based on our interests. Understand? Okay. So therefore, you need to develop an incident response plan. Okay. And then train your staff lah. After you have the policy, you design you identify the requirement, you design your architecture, train your staff, okay, understand the policy, okay, and continual review and improvement. Now this one is more in the maintenance lah, okay. Keep on continuing, monitor the possible threat, vulnerabilities, okay, and what kind of improvement you may need to apply to enhance your system security. Okay, so these are the guidelines. This guideline actually is more or less showing a very brief stages, okay, on creating a security or designing a security architecture. Designing a security architecture. Okay, come back to Mantik. Yes, what is different between vulnerability and threats? Okay. Thank you. Vulnerability is the weakness in the system. Threat is the potential attacks. Understand? Okay. So these are two different. There is a difference one. Threats and vulnerabilities. Okay. I think I can recall some of you. Yeah, I know who is from Sabah branch one. I can recall already. Okay. So. Okay, we take 10 minutes break, then we continue with the role of security architecture, okay?